We are in Darjeeling, and this part of Darjeeling is a few kilometers away from the main city called La Mahata. It's a monastery set in the midst of nature, and जैसे कि विशाल जी के साथ हम डिस्कशन में थे that this is a land of Indra, called Indraprastha. So what is the significance and the functionality of Indra and Indraprastha? We are going to receive that knowledge and information, which is pretty much lost, but at the same time we see as the Buddhists that live here, they do have a connection with Indra. But what are the different forms of Indra, their functions, and how is it relevant in the current times? Yeah. So Vishal is going to explain us further on this subject.
I'll just share few things in brief, which will just give everyone a view that what exactly the whole structure of the realm is. Like we have read this in scripture that there are different realms. So in the realm also there are the lower realms, there is earth, and there are the realms above earth. So there are 7 above, 7 below, and then in the middle is the earth. So earth is basically a sandhi land. It's a bridging land which can help a being to evolve from this land to the other land, from this realm to the other realm. So similarly, there are different rulers of each land. So for the lower realms, which we call as the Patal, means any land which is below earth, any realm which is below earth. So those
which we call as hell.
Which we call as hells or different hells. Even on the earth itself, there are different isles which are called as the hellish plains, or the plains where the beings are taken after the life and they are given like certain punishments. And these are all well explained in multiple cultures and different cultures and the traditions they had been mentioning about it. Because most of the traditions and the cultures on earth, they have always emphasized upon the afterlife, which is the real way of looking at the human birth. So there are 2-3 things which I want to mention. The first thing is that for the lower realms, there are different deities. Their gods, demigods, their deities are entirely different. Like suppose we all know about the Asur Guru Shukracharya. So the Guru of the Asurs is different, and Guru of the Devatas, the light beings, is different. So the Guru of the lower beings, or Guru functionality for the lower beings or the Asurs or Daitya is entirely different, or the non-light beings is different. And similarly, for the light beings, the Guru principle is entirely different, which we call as the Guru Brahaspati or Devraj or Dev Guru Brahaspati, and then for there we call as the Asur Guru Shukracharya. Similarly, on earth also there is a Guru principle which functions, and then that Guru has to be a being who has to perform certain functions. Similarly, Indra, like we are here on the land of the Indra, which we call as Darjeeling, and it has the local language word which is Lepcha, the local language that they have used. Post the Bhutanese and Sikkimese kings have ruled this land. So every time there are certain rulers on the land, and there are different beings who are under that rulership. So there are 3 basically categories of the beings. One is Manushya, which we call as the Nar. Manushya, Nar, Nari are the categories of Manushya. And there are Devatas, which we call as Dev and Devi. Okay. And there are Asur beings also, or the Rakshas, non-light beings also. Imbalanced beings are Asurs. So similarly, there are Rakshas also. So this land had been a land of Indra, which we call as Indraprastha. Prastha is a word used in Sanskrit for any land which is ruled by a being. So ruling area or the ruled area is called Prastha, which we call nowadays as country.
And you also mentioned that Indra is a position.
Yeah, Indra is a
beings
position.
Keep change according to the youth and the time.
So right now, suppose in case of Manushya, so the being in the Manushya has to be called as Nar Indra. So the Indra of the Nar has to perform certain duties. So he's the Devraj. Indra is for the Devatas. If it is the Nar, the king of the Nar, who will rule the Manushya or the human beings or the humanoids, will be called as the Nar Indra. And we know the current ministerial candidate that we have, his name itself is Narendra, who is the Indra of the Nar only, but not the
earth plane.
Or the earth, of the earth plane, not of the Devatas. So the Indra who will be the Indra of the Devatas is called Devendra or Devraj Indra. Means he is the king of the Devatas, the light beings, and that is one position. And every yug has a different, like the prime ministerial candidate would change as the rulership will change. Similarly, as the yug will change, the rulership of the candidates will change on the other planes as well, and here also. Like in the Asur Raj, there was one time when Prahlad was made the king, and before that it was Hiranyakashipu. So there were different kings in the Asurs as well. So similarly in the Rakshas also there are certain kings who are the rulers. Right now on earth there are more non-light beings, dark beings. So similarly their frequencies are spread all over the world, and you can see wherever we go the non-vegetarian has increased so much. And specifically in India, rather India is a Sanatani land. It's a land which has gone by the divine laws always. And the divine laws, the real dharma, had been a part of our culture, but you see it is not there anymore. And beings don't know how to behave, they don't know how to behave and approach nature, they don't know how to behave amidst the nature. So that is what is missing nowadays. And that beings has to learn now once again.
Absolutely. So the real history is taken from us. Our real heritage has been taken from us. The names have been changed. So our connection to this land and to our ancient past is forgotten. And similarly, now we're talking about this area. This Indra is of the Devatas.
Yeah, it's Devatas, yeah.
This
Originally,
land
because
outside
this land is Vaikuntapur. So Vaikuntapur is like the whole land that we know as know today as like Sikkim as a different land, and West Bengal is different land. So it is one complete Vaikuntapur which was the land. And later on it was divided into Nepal as separate, Bhutan as separate, Sikkim as separate.
Yes.
So that is how they have divided, because the colonizers, they came with the law of divide and rule, and this is the same law which goes in the organized sector even today, because they want to divide beings on different beliefs and faiths, and that is what gives them a sense of pride. But if you go with the Buddhist philosophy as well, everything goes on into the same directions, because the names are similar but the symbology is changed, so that the beings are not able to find out what exactly is the real meaning of that word, and what is the code, and what is the root of that word. Because once you lose the root of the words, you have lost the whole history, you have lost the whole symbology, you have lost the whole code. So the code that you can actually relate to in connection to your real heritage on earth. And that is how even the frequencies beings don't know, that's how the frequency play on earth is. They have been connected to such a frequency that they are moving towards the Asur Raj. They are moving towards the Asur Raj, they are moving towards the Asur Gurus. But the frequency of the divine is the Devta, that is the light frequency. They are on the name of the light frequency also, they are disguised with the Asur frequency. Because suppose they listen to more of 440 Hertz or the 440 Hertz frequency. So that is the frequency of the Asurs, imbalanced beings, which will make them behave like very imbalanced in the body, in the mind, and in the behavior, action, speech. And that is how they are part of the conspiracy itself, and they'll be conspiring for the light beings as well, always conspiring. So that itself is a symbology that they are attuned to the wrong frequency. And if you attune to the right frequency, you're moving towards the Dev Guru. If you are attuning to the wrong frequency, you are moving towards the Asur Guru. Now the frequency is different, but the principle is similar. Guru is Guru, but there are two different realms which will open for the beings if they attune to any of the frequencies. So similarly for the Indra, similarly for the Guru, similarly for the divine. Because otherwise no beings have ever bowed or worshipped any lower frequency or a lower deity or demigods or any lord for that matter.
And unknowingly, a lot of Buddhist practices, even of the Hindu practices, they are bowing down to the lower gods.
Yeah.
And to the Asuric Shakti.
They are all, because in Kali Yuga there is a straight symbology in terms of the temple system, in any way temple system, in all religions I'm talking about. Because in each religion the temple system has one common factor, which is the idol worship. And in the idol worship, and that too they are bowing to the black stones, black dolls. So that black stone worship is entirely a symbology of Kali Yuga. It's the peak effect of Kali Yuga. The Devmurti the forms of the deities and the devatas, the light beings, have also gone down. So beings have to realize this fact and not to bow towards any dark spirit, dark frequency, or any dark idol either, even if they're doing something in the form. But there are certain things which beings have to realize today, and they have to now change their lifestyle in totality. They have to approach the nature, because once you come to such places, you see that nature is on ticket. You know, once you put ticket on the nature, and beings are like littering everywhere, they are throwing bottles, they are like doing, like spreading all this garbage everywhere, and then they're thinking like nature is not a place of picnic. Okay, nature is not a place of picnic. It is a place for your survival. It is a whole construct designed heavenly, godly, divinely for the survival of the spirit. And the spirits, once they know that they are spirit, okay, because the New Age philosophy says that everyone is a spirit, everyone is God, everyone is a Lord, everyone is like an awakened. Once you're already there, so then what are you still searching for? Okay, that is the first thing. Secondly, once you know that you're a spirit, then spirits never die. Okay, so spirits are like they cannot be destroyed. They live even through the death, whatever you call as death today. So that means once you'll be living beyond that, that means you'll be living, and once you drop your body, even when you'll be living afterwards, and then you'll be facing something thereafter. Once you will be facing something, there will be some realm or reality. Okay, so once you'll be in that realm or reality, so that simply means that you have to go through certain things even there. So what you're facing right now is nothing. It's a very smaller fraction of what you might have to face later on if you don't realize it very well in time right now while you're living. So better mend the ways, adopt the vegetarian food diet, start leaving the alcohol, smoking, all these things out of your life. Take care of your body, because if you don't connect your body to the earth or to the nature, or you don't align yourself with the divine laws that we have, we call divine laws, is called dharma. If you don't allow, even then you have to allow yourself to be suffered.
So would it be right to say that the basic essence of practicing spirituality is ascension or descension? That you have the choice to decide. And ultimately we have to be faced with the reality that this body has a time. And the journey, what happens after, is determined by what we do here.
Certainly. See, in when Krishna and Arjun, they are having the dialogue. So between them also they are exchanging the similar facts of Urdhva Gati, Adhogati, so Gatis are there. Even in Buddhism, you will see, like we are having the discussions here as well. So they also talk about the Sugatas. Sugatas means the beings who had Sugati, means a good Gati, good flow of their, like good speed. They have a good Gati, so they have gone to the good realms. So that is what is called Sugata. So that is how in every culture, in every scripture, the same things are spoken about. So once you are here on earth, there are three options in everyone's hand. There are not many options, but still there are three options, fortunately. One is either to descend, to reappear, or to ascend for any spirit. Because spirituality has its word spirit, just like Adhyatma has the word Atma. So every Atma has to practice and only bow to the Param Atma. Means the one who is evolved than them, not to any being here on earth or anything what they're doing, like with the inanimate world what they have created down on earth right here right now. Once we are like visiting temples and all these places, so we can very well see what is happening everywhere. So because the divine has created an animate world, it's not an inanimate world. That is one thing. So now the beings have three options. They can descend and they can reappear on earth, or they can ascend out of the stream. So all these three things are only possible for the spirits, not for all. Only for the spirits, or for the imbalanced beings, which we call as asur. So asur can be brought into the sur. They can be brought back into balance. With certain discipline, they can come back to the balance. But other than that, now there are other things which the beings should now realize is, whatever you are doing right now is going to be the future. Whatever action, whatever words, whatever behavior you have right now, it is going to turn out to be your future. And the similar things what you're doing right now, it's going to be your past as well. So right now, suppose we are sitting here, so just 10 minutes after, it's going to be past. But this itself is going to define what we have spoken. So it is going to be defining our future as well. So whatever actions the humans and the humanoids and the rulers, the controllers of the earth have done, performed in the past, it has just turned out to be the future today. Like whatever actions they had, the kind of nonsensical, imbalanced life that they have lived. So it has brought them what? A pandemic. Now it has brought a fear, terror, and such a controlled, hellish life that they don't even know how to handle themselves out of all this craziness which is spread all over the earth right now. So beings have to realize that your actions translate into your future. And the future, if you are a spirit, the future continues even after you drop your body. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dhavati pavaka. So you can't be killed, burnt, or anyway you cannot be destroyed. You are a spirit, you will live thereafter as well. So you have to decide for your future today. If you are a wise being, you will choose the options wisely. If you are just like any other being, so then don't try, because whatever options you choose today, they are going to be your future. And once you made the option, once you made the choice, then you lose the power of choice in future. Number one. Number two, you lose the opportunity to complain. Now you can't complain. Once you made the choice, you can't complain. You lose that power to complain as well. Now you have no option, because you yourself has chosen to act, behave with your body this way, behave with the elements this way, behave with nature this way, behave with the other beings this way, or behave with the beings who are evolved than you this way. So once you have chosen that, now you can't complain. You have lost it.
So there you go, as Vishal and many authentic people will share, that the choice and the free will needs to be exercised by you, and it is your choices that determine how your journey prevails in this. And just to close on this topic from about Indra and from Indraprasth, is you were saying that there are certain functions which Indra performs, for example, about the rain.
Yeah.
So like that, what are the functionalities
So
of Indra?
Indra basically the Dev Indra, the Indra of the Devatas. So he is given the power of rain. So he can bring rain, but in connection with sun. Because if there is sun, only then the rain can happen in any realm. So if there is sun, then there is the rain. So he functions in coherence with sun, and the rain can appear on the land. And even in coherence with the evolved beings on the land, the Indra performs and rains appear. And rains has always been considered a very big race. It's because it is the bringer of prosperity. Because it is the bringer of nectar from the sky to allow the flora to flourish. So that is what rain is, and it washes away all the dirt. So that is what rain is. Rain is a nectar of the sky, so that, or nectar of the sun, we can also call it. So Indra has to perform that function. The Dev Indra, the Indra of the lightnings. But the Asur Raj Indra, the Indra of the Asurs, they have one function to perform, that they have to keep the good feel good factor. They have to continue to provide to their beings, so that they have that Sukhanubhuti, the Anubhuti of the feel good factor on earth while they are here on this plane. So that is why the whole couch system, the whole facilities, all resources are provided to all the Asurs and Devatas all put together, because the rulers are like Asurs. So the Indra of the Asurs and the Nar Indra, the Indra of the Manushya, the Nar, they all want their beings to be like completely deluded in the senses, and they want them to continue to live life of comfort, facility, and ask for more and more.
And repeat the loop.
And continue repeating the loop.
Here and in the lower realms.
In the lower realms.
So they want more population.
They want more. They are the spreaders or the promoters of the pleasure. So they want them to have false pleasure, artificial intelligence, artificial food, but everything like artificial discipline. Nowadays, the artificial discipline, anything you want in the nature, you create like a audio of the birds, the audio of birds, the water. Rather than going into the nature, you want to listen to that artificially. So that is an artificial nature which you want to create. But that nature is attuned to a very low frequency through the the
sound.
frequency. Yeah. So the digital it is at a very low frequency. So beings have to become aware of all these things, that what exactly is happening in this lok, in this realm, and then only they have to choose. They have to exercise their power of choice. Power of choice is the biggest weapon in the hands of the beings today.
That's wonderfully said. So, tune more and more in nature and connect with the ancient past. And Vishal will be sharing much more in the upcoming videos. So.